Hey guys, Matt from Chameleon Refinishing here, and I just wanted to do a review of my new Light Armor oven spray booth. I found Light Armor ovens a couple years ago when I was upgrading from my homemade powder coating oven to a more legit unit that would help take my quality and end results on larger pieces to the next level. And that oven really helped me do that. So when it was time to start looking at spray booths to kind of up the quality and for a specific issue I was having, I went right to them and picked out the size that I needed and I ordered it up and got it in about 2 weeks. And the issue that I was having is odor control. So I've been involved with Cerakote since about 2007 in the firearms industry. Quickly saw the crossover capabilities to use it in the automotive industry. And I used to push real hard back in like 2010 for people to start using Cerakote. And at the time, nobody knew what it was. And everybody was asking me for powder. So I kind of started doing powder coating. And now I find I do a lot more Cerakote. I do a lot of transmission cases, a lot of brake calipers, a lot of C-Series exhaust components. And anybody that sprayed C-Series exhaust components, you know that Glacier series, it has a lot of odors and vapors, and it's like you really don't want to be in the workspace while that stuff is off-gassing. And in the past, I would spray it and then, try and put it in my oven to off-gas, but then it would tie my oven up. So it really wasn't productive to do that. So I was kind of looking around at ideas and I said, you know what? I'm just going to do a spray booth. This way, I can use the ventilation from that to manage the fumes. So they do sell an exhaust kit for this. I didn't get it because I wasn't sure how I was going to set this up in my shop. Originally, my thought was to vent the main fan directly out the window and that would alleviate that, but then I didn't really want to do that. So what I ended up deciding is I'm going to put a 6-inch exhaust vent in my garage door, build a trap, go into that, and then I have the Cerakote fume extraction kit that comes off the top of the unit that uses a 6-inch hose, so I can go down and just wire it and have both of them, going out the door, and that takes care of the fumes. So I finally shot a test piece because I didn't want to do a review until I at least shot a test piece. So these were done in H series, and I just dropped them down in front of the fan and did a quick test shoot. So I'm standing about 2 feet in front of this. I'm talking normal, so the fan isn't loud, but I can feel it pulling air past me. So it's moving air. And when I was spraying those, I normally have an LED light on my spray gun that I made to solve the issue of finding light spots. But the lights actually do a really good job, and since there's 3 of them spaced apart, it lights enough of the piece that it's not really an issue. So these are in front of it, so they have shadow, but the pieces in the back are all well lit. So with doing those, since I had them hanging down here, they were more well lit and I was able to spray. And with the garage door open, it extracted all the fumes. So I was like, perfect, that's gonna do exactly what I needed to do. And then I shut it off, I pulled it in because I wanted to see how this was gonna work for fume extraction without the extraction kit. And with it sitting like this, I usually let my stuff off gas for 10-15 minutes so that the Cerakote flashes over. And if there's a dry spot, you can do a second coat before you put it in the oven. Whatever you got to do. But when it was sitting like this with the fan off, I did get a little bit of fumes. So that's where that, Cerakote fume extraction kit comes in. They do give you a plug right down here so it can plug in. And that'll solve all my issue of fume extraction. And that was my main concern with having the spray booth, was that ability to do that. Now, like if I was doing like an exhaust or a downpipe or something like that, you know, with the once the vents are installed, you just turn it on and leave it on, and you're not going to get any of the smell in the garage. So in the past, I've tried using exhaust fans. I've tried, you know, doing a million different things, and no matter what, you always get the smell. So with this, where it's using, you know, the exhaust fan and blowing it outside, you're not really going to get it. It's going to make the shop more workable. And then if the parts are wet, I can just, you know, get like a piece of plexiglass with magnets and just like stick it over the front, you know, going halfway down. So it's pulling from the bottom up, and it'll keep everything nice, dust free. I won't have to worry about anything, and I can keep working. So that's exactly what I was looking for. Now, as far as powder goes, because the box is grounded, the, you know, the rails are grounded with a good set of hooks, you can, you know, spray without having to attach grounding clips and, you know, having marks in the powder from where grounding clips were and everything else. So it'll make you more productive that way also. But the main thing is with capturing free floating dust. For probably 10 years now, as I've gotten busier and busier, I'm tired of everything in my shop having a layer of powder on top of it, to where every couple weeks I got to stop, wipe everything off, sweep everything down. Not because it's messy, but because to reduce the possibility of contamination in lighter colors like yellows and whites, which lately I've been in a kick of everybody wanting white valve covers. So it's like to make sure that there's no red or blue dust floating around where it's going to contaminate the white. You know, that's the reason I got this for the powder coating. But as I said, it's mainly for the fume extraction for Cerakote. So with that being said, you know, one thing I do with this and with the oven is I built a base with it on wheels. I hope Light Armor sees this video and takes that into account and starts offering a wheel kit for these, because with this being on wheels and my oven being on wheels, one, it allows me to reposition my shop as I need. But if I'm not going to need this, I can just move it out of the way. So for them to offer a wheeled base for this would be awesome, instead of me having to build one. But overall, super happy with it. I can't wait to start doing more work with it. I'm going to be doing these calipers in Cerakote later today. And then I have some powder coat stuff coming up. So I will be giving this thing a run through on powder. But so far, super happy. It's going to do the job I needed it to do, which was the odor control. And I feel like going into 2026, this is going to help take my game up to the next level. And that's what everybody that's in this industry, especially if you're a smaller shop, that's what you need right now, is to be leveling up. And Light Armor helps you do that at a great price with awesome products.